Hey, ladies. Hello, everybody. Hello. Um, Hope everybody is doing well. Please like the video as you are coming in. We are here today, gathered today to talk about this Grant Cardone case. Everybody like the video. Everybody like the video. Please share the live stream. And I did not realize that Grant Cardone, this whole thing was so widespread. When I first came up with the idea of talking about this, I only saw it on Ericka's stream and I thought she just was talking about it, not necessarily just cause, but just cause. And then all of a sudden, all of this week, I'm seeing everybody talking about, is Grant Cardone a culture vulture? I saw that in multiple titles. I'm here to say, I don't give a care if Grant Cardone is a culture vulture. I am here to say that I was a big fan of Grant Cardone from 2015 to 2018 ish. 2018, I started seeing some things I didn't like. By 20, in the 2018, 2019, I was off the train. So I'm here tonight to talk about why I got off the Grant Cardone train. I have not watched much of Grant Cardone. I thought a couple of months ago he was taking a pivot back to his old ways, like 2015, but turns out that doesn't look like it's the case. So I'm off the Grant Cardone train. I am here to say I don't think Black people should be on the Grant Cardone train. I'm going to talk about some of the things that I keep up with. Because, see, Ericka talked about, so this is a versus between me and Ericka. Ericka, talked about the WASP, which stands for White Anglo-Saxon Protestants, and the fact that the WASP don't really care for Grant Cardone. And I have a different reason for understanding why they don't care for him. So we're going to listen to what the WASP themselves have to say about Grant Cardone. Because, see, when the WASP say they don't like somebody, I want to find out why, right? Grant Cardone has some SEC troubles with this Cardone Capital. Let's talk about it. I think that we as Black people like flash way too much. I said to a Black woman earlier today, I said, look, we have this channel called Black Women Making Money. She's a real estate investor who actually helps you get into multifamily, purchase multifamily and raw land and do land development. But I said, I'm not here to save Black people. I have burned my cape. And she laughed. She said, I'm so glad you said that because I feel the same way. So I'm like, look, if people are coming, they coming. If they not, they not. Now, in full disclosure, Ericka has more zeros than I do. I've had zeros. Y'all know I'm rebuilding right now. But I think there are some things that people need to be alerted to with regards to Grant Cardone. I think that he is predatory within the Black community. It's a lot for me to come here with my full face and my full government name and tell these things to you, but somebody has to stand up and say, do your research. Don't believe the things that I'm telling you tonight. I want you to listen to some of the things that people are saying. We're going to read some articles. We're going to have some discussions. I see Mocha Mommy is in the building. So the first thing that I want to say, Mocha Mommy, is that I saw that you wanted to talk a little bit more about real estate private equity. I'm going to save that for another broadcast, but I will say to you and to anybody who cares about that these are things, raising money for real estate projects are things that we are able to do as Black women. It is done through something called Regulation CF, which stands for crowdfunding. Regulation CF. So you're able to Google it. You're able to raise $5 million per year for real estate projects. It is governed by the Securities and Exchange Commission. That keeps things honest. on both sides, on the people raising money as well as the people who are helping to fund real estate projects. But we don't need Grant Cardone to help us raise money and invest in real estate. What's up from Houston? Hey, smart money chick. Hey, dark and lovely. Hello, hello. Everybody, don't forget to like the video as you all are coming in. Okay, the second disclosure I want to make in my versus battle with Ericka is that the best sales course I ever took was actually a Grant Cardone course. Sales course, right? It was called Millions on the Phone. So, if you are looking for sales training, that one specific sales course I really do like. But a lot of the other stuff I'm seeing with Grant Cardone, no. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to show you a lot of stuff. Hey, Stephanie, I appreciate your work as well, my dear. Hello, Emma. Hola and bonjour. Okay, so people are asking again if Grant Cardone is a culture vulture. I really don't care. I care if the things that he is saying and presenting to Black women, and let's be real, the Black community for this one, but because this is Black women making money, Black women, are there things, is he leading us in the right direction and giving us the best that's out there? I'm here to say no. I don't care if someone's a culture vulture. I want somebody who really is going to put in the work to maximize our financial literacy. And I'm here to prove tonight that Grant Cardone is not that person. He's not that person. So, the first thing is, well, what is going on? So, there's a guy named Aaron who has a channel called Growing Up Scientology. He does a lot of discussions about Scientology, which we will talk about because there's a significant money issue with Scientology. And Grant gets paid for everybody that he recruits into Scientology, and all the money that we as a people are spending in the Black Baptist Church. If he can divert some of that money into Scientology, and many people think, because we're used to the Black Baptist Church, we're used to the AME Church, we're used to Kojic. You think you can walk out of Scientology? You got another thing coming once you get in. And we have a vulnerable population. I'm going to show you all of this tonight. We have a vulnerable population that's being sucked into this world. And I would be remiss if I knew all the things that I know and I didn't come on here and at least warn you. And all I'm warning you about, honestly, is to do the research yourself. I'm going to point you in a couple of directions. Okay. Emma saying that's true about his sales courses. Yeah. Yeah. I will be honest when honesty is needed. But let's start off with this here. What is this all about? He is talking here about how Grant talks about and to Black people. Let's see what the fuss is about. Make sure that I have this on a decent speed. Yes.
You. Grant Cardone done messed up this time. Grant Cardone, the thing is, it's not even that he made a mistake. He made the mistake of actually saying what he really believes. Because when you're Grant Cardone, being honest is a mistake. There's a reason this guy lies his butt off whenever his mouth is moving. I want to show you Grant Cardone talking about how he succeeds in getting money from Black people. Check this out for yourself, guys. See if this is as crazy to you as it is to me that he actually said this out loud. I mean, we can argue about whether it is crazy that he even thinks it. But right now I'm focused on the saying it out loud part. So this is an excerpt from an interview that he did with Laura Trump. The name of her channel is The Right View with Laura Trump. I'm going to enter in. It's a 28-minute interview. I'm only going to show you a couple minute segment. They're talking about the effectiveness of his internet marketing. And Grant makes reference to the fact that about half of his investors are Black people under the age of 40. I don't know how he would.
So, first of all, it's half of his audience is Black people under 40. Half of his audience is Black people under 40. We have, let's be real, we have a community of fatherless children, of women who don't have men. He calls himself Uncle G. He cares about you. and all of a sudden you're sucked into the 10x life. Grant has been calling himself Uncle G's ever since I've known him since 2015. And at that time, he had people calling into his show on a weekly basis. Uncle G, I need a father. Uncle G, how can I work with you? Uncle G, I want to come down to Miami. I'll follow you. I'll do whatever it takes. Hey, Black Widow Row. And now 40% of his audience is Black people. So let's continue listening to what this guy has to say.
Know that, but he's saying it. Let's just jump right into it. Here's
So he probably knows that because he probably does have the data on people. He probably has the data with regards to his social channels, because this is again his audience. So I agree. He probably is right that 40% of the people that follow him are Black, and he saw a hole in the market and he is taking advantage of it.
Grant Cardone with Laura Trump.
I think that I'm not tasteful half the time. Like, I'm not. I mean, I look at stuff and I cringe. I'm like, oh my god, I'm sitting on the top. I'm sitting on a Rolls Royce on the.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. I'll have to go check that one out.
And I'm literally throwing money. You know, like
he's sitting on a Rolls Royce, making it rain. He's sitting on a Rolls Royce, making it rain. Who do you think that's for? On Instagram. He's coming into our clubhouse rooms. I'm going to talk about that as well. He's coming into our clubhouse room, our rooms, to talk to us about financial literacy, giving advice to rappers so that all of us can see the advice that's happening. We're being targeted.
So anyway, what I'm trying to do though is, you know, that's not going to appeal to you, right? But there's audiences.
That's not going to appeal to you.
Yeah, that's not going to appeal to Laura Trump. That's not meant to appeal to her.
Who's you? Laura Trump, women, white people? Let's find out.
I think the reason we have done well there is because it's very raw, it's fast, it's unedited, it's you know, a little bit in your face. About half my audience is Black under the age of 40. How did a white guy attract an audience? Like if I'm out in public and I see a 55-year-old white man or a 25-year-old Black kid, the Black kid knows who I am. There's like,
who? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? He can see a 55-year-old white man or a 25-year-old Black kid, not Black man, but Black kid. But I'll let that go. Not Black woman, but Black kid. And the Black kid knows who he is.
Wow.
There's a 10 times better chance, 10x, that the Black kid knows me. Now, the reason is because we go after that audience and we're talking to them in very street terms, if you will, very not big nomenclature, vocabularies, you know, we just.
Now we'll say this. Most people in America, you speak to them between a 4th and a 6th grade education. I don't have a problem with that. He is admitting here that this is targeted to the 25-year-old Black kid who probably didn't grow up with a daddy. So let's keep going.
Keep everything very tight and simple. And at the same time, we've had, you know, raised $1 billion in the last 3 years over the internet from accredited investors. So we're hitting both bands. They're all on social media, the whole world.
So let's be real. He's raised money from both accredited and unaccredited investors. An accredited investor is somebody who makes $200,000 if they're single, $300,000 if they're married, and has a net worth over $1 million, excluding their primary residence. Grant has raised money from accredited and unaccredited, meaning rich, quote unquote, rich, and less rich, poorer investors. And I'm going to show you that today as well.
We're hitting both bands. You know, Saturday Night Live could turn this into a skit. The Grant Cardone impression. Yeah. I'm Grant Cardone. Have you seen my jet? We're currently raising money from investors.
Yeah. Have you seen his jet? Have you seen him make it rain on a Lambo? And you wonder who he's targeting. And this is the WASP saying this. So shout out to Ericka. because Ericka mentioned the fact that the WASP don't mess with Grant. So I want to show you what the WASP are saying.
Investors on both ends of the spectrum. On one end of the spectrum, we've got the accredited investors, and on the other end of the spectrum, we have the blacks. We're raising money from accredited investors and the blacks. And to reach them, you got to speak in small words. You got to. It's why I sound like such a moron. You got to reach them at their level. My friend Damon John taught me that.
That's a lie. That's a lie. I've been following Grant a long time. Grant knew how to pursue Black people before Damon John came on the scene. So I don't know if this guy, Aaron, is being facetious about it, saying that Damon John said it, or if Grant actually said that, but that's not true.
I mean, oh my God. Like, is it just me? Am I reading too much into this? Do you hear this the way that I do? First of all, one thing that.
So this is what the first WASP is saying here. Guy named Aaron. You can check out his channel, Growing Up Scientology. He has a lot of videos digging deep into not only Grant Cardone, but this whole Scientology thing, which really does concern me for Black people, especially our most vulnerable. And again, I'm going to talk about that. Everybody like the video, share the stream as well. These types of men can appeal to Black men, especially young Black men, because he came from a poor background himself. Black Widow Row, let me tell you something about Grant. Grant did not come from a poor background. Grant is over exaggerating his poverty. Grant's mother, when his father died when he was 10, Grant's mother got a life insurance policy. Grant's father bought them a house on a lake before he died. Grant's mother was able to sell that house, was able to take the life insurance policy, and was able to put her kids, through school with that. And then, when Grant turned 25 and he turned his life around, I tell you, I've been following Grant a long time. And he said this in one of his Cardone Zone discussions. He said, Cardone Zone used to be the show that he did every Friday. I'm telling you, I used to follow Grant, okay, a lot. I was a super fan of his until I saw the shift in 2018. And then I said, it's time for me to get off this boat. Literally, Black Widow Row. Grant said he turned 25, he got off drugs, he was ready to turn his life around. He asked his mother for the money for him to buy the sales tapes that taught him how to be a great salesperson. In 2016, 2017-ish, he said that the value of those tapes were $8,000. We're not talking about his mother gave him money to go to school. We're not talking about his mother gave him $8,000 towards a house. His mother gave him $8,000 in 2017 terms to get some sales tapes. This is not the evidence of Black poverty. Because when we say we're poor, we could never go to our mothers or fathers and ask for $8,000 for an online course or for some tapes. I'm so glad you said this because I had actually forgotten that story, but I'm telling you, his poverty is not our poverty. He's selling his poverty like it's our poverty. It is not the same. Also, he knows what men want to hear because he wanted to hear that too. And the fact that he has this woman, Stormy Wellington, as his entrance to Black America, it's not just Black men, Black Widow Row, it's Black women as well. It's Black women as well. Hey, Computer and Coin, good to see you. Yeah, so y'all have a lot of stuff on here. He didn't grow up 8 Mile of projects. He did not. He did not. So here's the problem that we have. When somebody like a Grant uses a term, we put our meaning onto that term. And oftentimes when they say the second, third, and fourth sentence explaining what that term meant, or if we ask them what they mean, it's nothing like us. Grant grew up middle class. Grant was middle class. Grant went to college. Grant has an accounting degree. Grant did not pull it out of the mud. Grant did not do it by himself. He didn't. He didn't do it. So let's see here. What else is happening? So Ericka did her session, and shout out to Ericka. So full disclosure, I'm a fan of Ericka. I like Ericka. We've had several conversations. We both know who each other is. But I disagree with her on various aspects of the Grant Cardone thing. It's really funny because she and I had a consult, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and she asked me if I was going to the 10X Growth Con, and I said no, and I said a couple of other sentences, and she kind of knew where I was headed with that. That I was like, I don't deal with Grant Cardone, and she kind of got it. So, but let's kind of talk here about some of the things that Ericka said in her live, and I'm gonna rag on Ericka a little bit tonight. So, let's pull this up here. I hate it when I do this. I forget where I put stuff. Nope, that's not it. Give me a second, everybody. Here we go. Okay. Make sure that I've got my time on right. And let's hear a little bit about what Ericka has to say about Grant and why Grant is targeting Black business people.
Get you. So again, lack of structure, lack of business. Number 4, young new money. Why is Grant Cardone going after this young money? This is what's happening. Again, I just told y'all 90% of Black millionaires have their money in 2 places: their business or their house. They're very cash heavy. Even Tim Ferriss of 4-Hour Work Week, white dude, knowledgeable, made all this money, millions of dollars. He literally said he had all his money in his business or in cash. And his friends, his other white friends that come and do interviews with him every time, get on him. They like, why you ain't doing this? Why you ain't invested? Invest your money. What are you doing? He's like, I don't know what to do. Again, we're
So Ericka's here talking about young new money. There's new money and then there's old money. The old money wasn't messing with Grant. I'm going to explain why. I'm going to actually show you why the old money wasn't messing with Grant. And I love Ericka. It wasn't for the reasons that Ericka said. It wasn't because they're WASP and they're old money and Grant is new money and he's this or that. It is because the cost of Cardone capital was too high. The rates that Grant Cardone is charging is not the rates that old money or WASP money that knows what they're doing gets. So Grant is searching for young, new money in rappers, in successful Black business owners, and saying, hey, you want to be a part of $100 million apartment complex? You can say you own a part of this. Just come and invest in Cardone Capital. Be a part of the 10X community. And because we are so starved as a people for attention from anybody to validate us, he is going after young new money. Let's keep listening.
Coming from a generation of people who don't know investments. We are not taught this in schools. So if you're a Black person, you're making money, but you don't know, am I accredited yet? You know how many people I get on the phone with, they're absolutely accredited and they didn't know? We add up their stuff, but they didn't know. Right? So now you're sitting here with people who don't know they're accredited. They're scared of the stock market. They do know one thing: housing. They got cousins with problem houses. They got family with housing problems. They got people that sold grandma a house. They know housing makes money. So here comes Grant. Hey, Hey, sis, I see you working hard. The haters gonna hate. Don't be a little bitch. You know, that's his day. He played that every day. Don't be a little bitch. And again, guess what happened? You're talking to a voice of people are overlooking. Why? These big hedge funds, these big firms, they ain't got time to sit here and convince your uncle Robert to give him some money off his car wash business. They don't have
Yeah. Old money is not going to run behind Black people saying, please, please, please get your paperwork together. Please, please, please. Yeah, the PPP loans passed you by, but you didn't learn how to put your paperwork together. Well, let's help you get your paperwork together. They're not doing that. They don't have the time. They don't have the interest. Now, if you have your paperwork together, they will take your money. And Ericka does mention it. I'm not going to play it here because she has a lot of things she says on here. She says Black people are trying to get on YouTube and tell other Black people this is how you do stuff. And it takes a white man to come, a la Grant Cardone, and help people get their paperwork together. We're not going to talk about that. Let's keep going.
time to convince your Uncle Jackie to give them some money off the daycare business. They don't have time to convince your friend who do lashes and hair and she got money out the yams. They don't got time to convince her to give them some money for their investment projects. This is why you see the fund manager launch, dude. If y'all know his name, put it in the chat for me. The white dude that's doing fund launch in May 10th through 12th through in Miami. That's not even me giving him no referral or nothing like that. He has all those people showing up. You know who shows up? Indian, Asian, minorities all over. Why? Because we're overlooked by the majority white audience. I'm trying to tell y'all. Sorry, stretching my leg. If y'all see me out here, you're like, what is Ericka doing? Stretching my leg. Sorry. Okay. Y'all see us being overlooked by these audiences. We're being overlooked because they know we got money, but they don't know if it needs structure. Again, they don't have time to train us to get us where we need to be. Again, that's where you see a lot of this young Black YouTube coming out here training, right? We're giving training, we're giving learning. The stuff I sell on my channel, here's $97, here's $190.
Okay, so that was the part that I wanted to play with Ericka, but I want you to look at the second bullet point. I wish it were bigger. I wish Ericka had made it bigger, but let me just put this all out here. The second bullet point says, majority young white guys are saying capital no to Cardone Capital, too many fees. Even Ericka knows that the problem with Cardone Capital and with some of the things that are happening at Cardone, especially Cardone Capital, is that the fees are not in line with what we should be getting. We complain continuously about the payday loans in our communities. We complain continuously about the pastors sucking the community dry. We complain continuously about, I'm going to call out a name, Wells Fargo Bank. And now we have somebody coming into our community talking about how they're going to help us get rich, help us invest in these apartment complexes, telling us not to buy houses. He was on DJ Vlad talking to us about don't buy a house. Instead, invest in Cardone Capital. I would play the Vlad interview, but I understand that DJ Vlad really is a vulture with regard to his stuff being played. So all around the sales, that one sales course that I took, Millions on the Phone, I would recommend it to you. Everything else, Cherie is tapped out. I ain't going to a growth conference. I sure as hell ain't investing in Cardone Capital. And don't even think about coming to me with that Scientology bullshit. Hell no. So the other thing that I have to say is, and I'm going to call Black people out here. The PPP loans passed us by. If after the PPP everything happened, you still didn't get your paperwork together, I don't know what to tell you. You're not ready for business, you don't want to do business, etc. The paperwork is not that hard. If you have a cash business, put your money in a bank account so that you can start getting mortgages, you can start getting better rates for things. Your credit can, report can show activity on it, things like that. We as a people do need to do better with regards to some of the things that we're doing. We as Black women business owners need to do better with our paperwork. She didn't say no, but hell no. I said hell no. Yes. Now, Ericka said that she's invested in Cardone Capital. I believe Ericka is invested in Cardone Capital because she wants access to the network of people in the 10X world. Ericka is running a different playbook. I completely understand her playbook. I'm practically 100% sure that that is why she is invested in Cardone Capital. I'm also pretty much 100% sure that she has a very, very, very small amount of her wealth and net worth in Cardone Capital. If she has 1%, I'd be surprised. So that, in my opinion, that is how Ericka is moving. She wants access to the people in the network so that she's able to get in on other real estate deals and things like that. That's my opinion about how she is doing it. So I didn't know that Grant was hanging out in our Clubhouse rooms. I've told y'all before that the worst thing I ever did was tell Clubhouse. The worst thing I ever did was tell Clubhouse that I was Black. Because all of a sudden I'm seeing the craziness in Black Clubhouse. But I also know that there were some wealth building rooms. And I met a woman at the salon one day, and she's a 60-plus-year-old woman. And she's talking about Clubhouse. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not really on there, blah, blah, blah. What's happening on there? And she's telling me that Grant Cardone is coming into the Black financial literacy, financial wealth building space. And I'm like, this was a year ago, so recent. I'm like, I'd be careful with regards to that. And I tell you, if I wasn't face to face with her, I wouldn't have believed it. A 60-plus-year-old woman. The tears started to well up in her eyes, and she said to me, but Cherie, he loves Black people. He loves Black people. No, he really loves us. I tell you, and this is not to make fun of this woman. This was me being in utter shock that a 60-plus-year-old Black woman has such a I don't know what it is in our hearts or whatever. We are lacking, we're starved for attention. And it's not just the under 40-year-olds, it's older Black women as well. We are starved for anybody to validate us. And he gets triple points if he's a white male. And he gets 10 times the point if he's a white male that's saying we're doing good with our money. Again, I was shocked. We are seeking validation with regards to love, which is why a lot of us, not us on this channel, but a lot of Black women spend a lot of time in the femininity channels and the masculinity channels and the relationship channels. So we're starved for validation and affection there. We're starved for validation and affection at work, which is why we're going into these corporations asking for 26 to 40% less money than white men. There was a study on that in Black Enterprise. I have a woman named Mentor Shelley coming on next week, I think, next weekend, to talk about why are we underpaid, how to do our salary negotiations, how to level up. Some of us have been in a job for 10, 15 years where we are $20,000, $30,000 underpaid, and we have 3 times the work put on us than everybody else in the department, and we are starved for validation. We're starved for it. And now in this wealth building space, we're starved as well. We're starved. Even your local credit union has options for small businesses. They can help you with lots of things and partnerships. There's training all over the place. There's SCORE. There's different banks that will help you. There are people on YouTube that will help you. There are a lot of people that will help you for free or very low cost. Very low cost. So let's talk about why Black people think that Grant loves Black people. Number one, Grant really does know his rap. Boy, can he recite the lyrics to a Tupac song. I witnessed that in 2015, 2016. I wasn't surprised by that, but I wasn't impressed by it either. Boy, does he know his Biggie Smalls and his Snoop Dogg, invited Snoop Dogg to the 10X Growth Conference, invited 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather and all of those guys. When I saw all of that starting to come in, I hit the exit ramp. I'm not going to my financial literacy coaches and training to hear Biggie and Tupac. Let me tell you something. When I go to my financial wealth advisors and ask them, hey, what's going on? What did you do this past weekend? I want them to tell me they went to see Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood. If they tell me they hanging out with Cardi B, and this is not against Cardi B, I'm not impressed with people who are trying to be cool with us because they know hip hop. Not impressed. He wants to use the N-word. Somebody mentioned this earlier in the chat. Yeah. Asking if he can use the N-word, begging some 25-year-old Black boy, Black man, let me say, to give him permission to use the N-word. He's been asking that for years. Okay. He was at one point, there was a riot or something happening in Baltimore. And I remember this vividly. This was back in the day. He was, willing to send his books to the young men in Baltimore to help them with financial literacy. Noble thing, but he even saw the market at that time shifting. Everybody calls him Uncle G. Uncle G is here to give you what you need with regards to that fatherly love that's missing in so many of our hearts. And we think it only affects the men, it affects the women as well. And I heard it myself. I'm not going to play it tonight because I have so much to play for you all, but Stormy Wellington, Grant's whole goal is to have an outreach to 6 billion people in the world. And on one of his recent broadcasts, which I did pop into, he was mentioning the fact that he's going to have, a person that helps him reach out to Latino people and a person that helps him reach out to this group of people and that group of people. And he specifically mentioned Stormy Wellington is his bridge and connect to Black people. So the same woman that I met at the salon, the 60-plus-year-old woman who cried, practically cried, she didn't really cry, practically cried though, saying that Grant loves Black people, was the one who told me about Stormy Wellington. So I had checked her out at the time. I said, oh, this is interesting. So let's see a little bit about Stormy Wellington now. Yeah, Emma, low vibrations. Low vibrations. I want us to look at I want us to listen to Stormy's background because this is very telling.
The Stormy Wellington, hold up, wait. Hold on. Who dropped out of school in the 9th grade. I had my first child at 15.
She dropped out of school in the 9th grade. She had her first child at 15. This is the person who is going to help Grant captured the Black community. I'm not downing her for being a teenage mother. She's going to say more here. There's a lot of trauma that's happening here. Let's listen.
I used to be a stripper in the strip club to provide for my family, not because I wanted to, but because I didn't have these type of environments with successful people to learn from. And all I knew was what I was exposed to. You understand? My first time in a strip club, I was 13 years old.
13 years old, first time in the strip club. 13 years old. This woman was taken advantage of. And how many of our Black girls are taken advantage of and have to pull it out of the mud? That is Stormy Wellington's story. And Stormy Wellington is working hand in hand with Grant Cardone. And when you're talking to somebody whose mother and father were not in the picture, and they find someone like Stormy, then what?
I had to make some money to turn my water back on. I was told I was never going to be nothing or nobody. And for a long time, because my mama sold drugs, my father sold drugs, I really believed the stuff that I was told. But then I realized that man is maker of himself. That man is made and unmade by his daily choices and decisions. And we become like whatever we desire, whatever it is that we believe that we could become. Hold up. For some of y'all who scared to make the investment, I said I was going to be on his stage. How was I going to separate myself from everybody else if I don't do something different? So I wanted to make myself uncomfortable. Y'all ready for this? But I wanted to make him uncomfortable too. Yeah. I want you to tell all your friends about this little Black girl who dropped them $5 million on you. And then I had to.
Whoa. She dropped $5 million. Let's roll it back here really quickly. Let's hear what she said. Tell you about the Black girl who dropped $5 million. So you're going to have young, impressionable girls who sees a woman like this, who was stripping or in the strip club. She didn't say she was stripping. She said she was in the strip club at 13 because she had to pay utilities because her parents were selling drugs and I think they were in jail or something like that. All the way to a woman who's probably in her late 30s dropping $5 million to get on Grant Cardone's stage. There's another video she did where she says she dropped $1 million cash to buy a yacht. And this is the person, and again, I'm not ragging on Stormy. I am saying that this is the person that Grant has chosen to be the outreach person for Black America.
This little Black girl who dropped them $5 million on you. And then I had the audacity, to put my office on the 6th floor in the bank that we bought together. So not only am I collecting rent off my building that I own with Mr. Cardone, but I also rent for myself. Hello? How many of y'all ever got a recall on some type of device that you purchased? It's because something was wrong, so it got recalled. See, Stormy Nicole Wellington would not be recalled. See, them days are over with. I would make sure that my presence is known. See, y'all ain't gonna never forget me. Let me make sure y'all don't never forget that this a real Black girl. Hold up. I want y'all to see this the real Black girl with the big booty and all that. Grant Cardone gave a real Black girl the microphone. I said Grant Cardone gave a real Black girl like me the microphone. Hello.
Grant Cardone gave a real Black girl like her the microphone. This is not against Stormy. This isn't good. I'm just going to say it like that. This isn't good. This isn't good. I saw my girl in here, the credit solutionist, the solutionist experience, saying she runs with Tony Robbins as well. I don't know. I've never seen it with Tony Robbins, but I stopped following him too. So probably does. You said it, Emma. You said it. So, all righty then. So this is the person that's going to be the link. This is the connect. This is the link. All right. But see, Grant is telling us things that he's not doing. Grant told us not to buy a house. Now, he said this on DJ Vlad, but I can't show it on DJ Vlad's channel because apparently DJ Vlad flags people who uses his content, and I want to keep this up. So I'm going to show this to you on another channel here, The Real London. Let's listen to this. Let me just make sure I got my...
Love real estate. I think most people resonate. Real property resonates with people. Unfortunately, most people just buy the wrong kind of real estate. You know, again, it's a selfish decision to have a home.
It's a selfish decision to have a home. Did you all hear what he said? It's a selfish decision to have a home. Ladies, the average Black family has a $17,000 net worth. The average white family has a $180,000 net worth. And 2/3 of the average white family's net worth is in their home. And he's telling us not to buy one while he owns 2 of them. See, the WASP uncovered that as well.
Okay. Most people shouldn't buy a home.
No one should buy a home.
Interesting. Which is the opposite.
No one should buy a home. And he's coming telling us that as well. Now, I give Ericka her props. Ericka has talked about this as well on her channel and said, don't listen to this. This is garbage advice.
The American
Homes were
dream.
not built for people. Homes were built for banks. The bank created that product to sell money. You can't just loan people money. You need a product in between. Like when people start really understanding what I'm telling them, they're like, wait, what did you just say? The bank can't lend money for just money. Like you need a reason to borrow money. Oh, you're starting a business. That's a reason, but it's really risky for the bank. What if a bunch of bankers sitting around drinking bourbon? We need to lend more money. We got to lend money out, man. That's how we make money. We get people to give us $1. We lend it out 9 times. I read that book when I was a kid, man, when I was 16 years old. So we lend it out 9 times. We need something to lend the money on. So back in the 50s, they're like, everybody should have a home. They grinned. Everybody should have a home, right? Oh man, that's pretty good. We should call it something like the American dream. Can't just call it a house, right? Everyone should have one, right? They got the politicians behind it. Yes, everyone should have one. And then what they did was basically those homes were built for banks because who made all the money on the homes? Wasn't even the builder. Certainly wasn't the homeowner. It was always the banks. Colleges was another scheme by the bank.
Okay.
Everyone.
Okay. Here's the problem that we have with this. We have an affordable housing crisis, ladies. We have an affordable housing crisis. Rent is going up every single year. The last 2 years I was in an apartment, my rent went up $300 both years. If we get a mortgage, a 30-year fixed rate mortgage or a 15-year fixed rate mortgage, we have stable housing. As long as that mortgage is paid, we can have multi-generational living. When that mortgage is fully paid off and we're older, we're 60, 65, 70, we have to pay the property taxes. But other than that, we have stable housing. And Beulah said it right here. He's probably a landlord of multiple properties. He is a landlord of multiple properties. He's also a homeowner himself. The money that he got to start investing in real estate, see, this is why you need to listen to the WASP. Because Ericka said the WASP don't mess with Grant. So we want to figure out why the WASP don't mess with Grant. Well, the WASP told us years ago that Grant used his primary residence, his first primary residence in Los Angeles, When he sold it, he was able to take some of that money out and put it into real estate investing. But he's telling you to do something different. Hey, Deanne, good to see you. Good to see you in here. He's telling you to do something different than what he's doing. Now he owns 2 homes, but he's telling you don't buy a house. He's on Vlad TV telling you don't buy a house. He's coming into our clubhouses, Black clubhouse, telling us don't buy a house. Now, I didn't hear him say it in Clubhouse, but I guarantee you that's what he's saying. Instead, give him the money, put it in Cardone Capital. We haven't even gotten to Cardone Capital yet. But I will tell you right now, in case you have to go, Cardone Capital is in trouble with the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission. If you research it, and you will see some articles where Grant says that he's been vindicated, he's gotten out of it. No, they rolled that back. That case is still going on. But we heard earlier that Grant is targeting Black people in order to invest in these things. Yeah. So let's keep going here. What are the WASP saying? WASP stands for White Anglo-Saxon Protestants, because again, the WASP don't mess with Grant. So anytime that I hear something like that, I want to hear why. Now, I don't just trust white people. I will trust but verify. I will listen to a whole bunch of them. I will go do my own research, my own articles, things like that. If the SEC is getting involved and things like that with regards to his dealings with Cardone Capital, I'm paying special attention to it. Okay. But this is what's happening here. So I want to share with you what's happening at Cardone Capital. And this guy, this growing up Scientology guy, he has a really succinct video here where he explains what's happening. So let's listen to this for a couple of minutes. And let me just make sure my timer's on right. Yeah, it is.
I want to start by showing you the guy who first caught on to Grant Cardone's scheme, and I want to show you what he said about it. Real estate investor and YouTuber Kevin Paffrath, known on YouTube as Meet Kevin. He first caught on to this scheme and reported on it 2 years ago. Here is what he said about it on his channel.
This is a deal that Cardone Capital just bought. Here's the deed showing the purchase price, just under $134 million. Yet, on this pamphlet, it says that their equity is $39.4 million, which is supposed to represent 25% equity, which means they're saying the building is worth $157 million. The form says at acquisition, this was their equity. Are they trying to deceive new investors, or what's up with this?
Well, it looks like deceiving new investors is exactly what Grant Cardone was trying to do. And not only that, it was part of his scheme to convert his investors' capital directly into personal profits put into Grant's own pocket. The deal that Kevin mentioned there was a project called Columbia Town Center. This was a project that Grant bought in December of 2019, and Kevin was reporting on it in March of 2020. And as they say, if you see one cockroach, there's probably 100 more that you can't see. It occurred to me that if Kevin was finding this deal in December 2019, just months after the deal occurred, then why don't we go back to the very first deal that Grant Cardone did when he expanded beyond the scope of just investing for friends and family and started raising money from accredited and unaccredited investors. Why don't we go back to that point and examine every single deal between when he first started and the deal that Kevin found in 2019. So that's exactly what I did. Between September 2016 and December 2019, Grant Cardone purchased 13 deals that he then sold to his Cardone Capital investors. And depending on which purchase price you want to use for each property, whether we're talking about the actual purchase price that Grant Cardone actually paid, or the false inflated purchase price that Grant Cardone told his investors that he paid, the total purchase price of the 13 properties was between $1 and $1.1 billion. Grant Cardone and Cardone Capital does not disclose
the actual purchase price of these properties to Cardone Capital investors.
I want you to hear what he just said. He says that you are paying into this fund, so you're an investor, and Grant Cardone doesn't even tell you how much he paid for these properties. This is disclosure, ladies. This is disclosure or lack of it. Let's keep listening.
And the information I'm showing you here has never been seen in public before.
Okay, that was actually all I wanted to show you with regards to that. So, look, do your own research, but there are multiple people reporting a lot of this, and they've been reporting a lot of this for a few years now. So, do your own research, tread lightly. Tread lightly. Black, Hispanic, and Indian people, people of color, Erica's right about one thing. We are the next frontier with regards to economic elevation in this country. But along with that, there are going to be a lot of people who will prey on us and pray for our hunger and desire for financial generational wealth because we've never had it. And they will be like Grant, somebody who grew up middle class and say, I grew up poor. And when you unravel their story, they didn't grow up poor. They didn't pull it out of the mud. They've been successful for a while. They own homes, but tell you not to buy them instead for you to put your money into their real estate funds. They don't help you start your own businesses and grow your own businesses. They tell you to buy into their businesses, to invest in their businesses. Now, if you want to invest in somebody else's business, I wouldn't tell you not to do that. I'm just saying that you need to run your own race. You need to have your own strategy. You said I'm not treading at all. I don't blame you, Rose. I don't blame you at all. Yes, everybody, get the likes up, please. Get the likes up. Share the video. Share the video with anybody. If you are just like, no. I'm going to ask you if there's somebody in your life that is thinking of working with Grant Cardone, going to the 10X Growth Conference, because they pitched Cardone Capital, is my understanding, at the 10X Growth Conference. Please have them look at this video as well. Just tell them to go to this Growing Up Scientology guy's report, see what he has there. Yeah, Meet Kevin and Grant have their history, but if Meet Kevin is reporting on this, there are other articles about these issues. The SEC is involved. I'm with you, Rose. I'm not treading it all. I got off the train 2018. I got off the train. So this guy is not the only WASP talking. I'm going to show you two people who knew Grant prior and why they don't do business with Grant anymore. Now, they're slight wusses to me with regards to how they handled the question. But the first guy is a guy named Brad Lee, and I'm going to show you this here. Make sure I got my time on right. See, the speed was too fast.
Relationships are always more important than money.
Right.
I made a mistake with Grant a while back to where I put money over relationships. He put money over relationships, which strained our relationship. And it probably cost me a lot. And quite frankly, it probably cost him a lot, even though he still did fine. But, you know, if I could go back, I'd have just I remembered my rule, which is now relationships over money.
Right. You might have a disagreement, but
dude,
just deal with it.
If it's over.
So I want you to hear what the disagreement is, ladies. Listen to this closely because it's only 50 seconds. I want you to hear the disagreement that Brad Lee, this guy here on the screen, had with Grant Cardone, and you tell me how you would have felt and how you would have handled it.
money, like if me and you made a deal and I said to you, okay, Ryan, you do this for me, and when I start making all this money, I'll give you X amount of it, which is my deal usually.
Yeah.
And we agree. And then 2-3 years later, a lot of money's coming in, and I say, why am I giving you this money? Matter of fact, I'm going to give you half from now on.
So basically what Brad is saying here is Brad and Grant Cardone had a deal when Grant was much smaller and Brad had this platform, because I know what he's talking about. They had a deal, I guess, that they were going to build this thing up and split the money some sort of way. And Grant takes off. Grant starts getting successful. 2-3 years later, Grant doesn't want to abide by the deal anymore because he's blown up. He's successful. He doesn't need Brad Lee anymore. So Grant tells Brad Lee, according to this story here, I'm cutting your payment in half. Why am I paying you all of this money? Fool, you're paying me all this money because when you were down low, this is what we agreed to. This is what we agreed to. Now, I'm going to show you a second story. It's going to be similar. Past behavior is indicative of future behavior. Grant is making a whole lot of promises to Black people now. He's making a whole lot of promises to Black people now. If he screwed over this guy and another WASP and all these other WASP, y'all can fill in the rest of the blank with regards to what I think he would do for Black women and Black people. Let's move on because I want you to hear the second story. This look. I knew that the stream was going to be long tonight, but we're just plugging away at it because I want you to have a full understanding of why I got off the train. So this guy is Ryan Daniel Moran. He is a successful business owner as well. He had this and still has this conference called capitalism.com. I want you to listen to what happened between he and Grant here.
And so when you know that anybody can go on to become something great, you approach every relationship with a little bit more grace and a little bit more kindness.
Now, I don't agree with that. If I know somebody is going to be great, I expect them to treat me fairly. That both of these guys kind of, disappointed me because Grant blew up and they wished that they had stayed along for the ride, even though Grant did not treat them appropriately at the time that they had interactions with him. But let's keep listening.
So my interaction with Grant could have led to something amazing, but instead I treated it like a bad transaction and I lost a lot of opportunities as a result of how I showed up in that relationship. And the third is that there is no replacement for an in-person interaction. One of the people who inspired me most.
I'm sorry, everybody. I think I messed up my timing here. I need to be at 6:31. I'm sorry. I want you to hear what y'all heard the end instead of the beginning.
The value you bring to the table is booking them to speak on your stage. The second thing that I learned is how fast people can grow. I watched Grant Cardone give a keynote that caused some friction in our relationship and with my audience because I booked him for a very specific topic that we talked about multiple times, and then he went on stage and completely went off script. I tried to bring him back on script in our Q&A, and it just didn't go anywhere. And honestly, I was angry with Grant.
Did y'all see his face? Look at his face. Look at his face. He's upset. He paid Grant Cardone to come and speak about something specific. They spoke about it multiple times. He was supposed to speak about something specific. The audience was upset because Grant was supposed to speak about something specific, and he's off talking about whatever the hell he wants to talk about. But wait, there's more. Look at this man's face.
And honestly, I was angry with Grant because we had a very clear agreement about what we were going to do together, and I didn't feel like he honored that contract. In retrospect,
did you hear this? This is the second person saying we had an agreement and I don't feel he honored the contract. And yet you think he's going to honor the contract ultimately with Black America. Okay.
I wish that I had tried to address it with Grant. I wish that I had gone to him and tried to have a follow-up podcast or to do some way to get what I wanted to ultimately get out of that transaction. The truth is, I thought I was doing Grant a favor by putting him on my stage because he did not have the level of reach that he has today.
So you heard this guy say that when he hired Grant, Grant did not have the level of reach that he has today.
So I didn't pursue that relationship because I felt let down by my interaction with him. In retrospect, that was a bad move on my part.
I disagree. I will burn a bridge in a second.
Because over the next several years, Grant would go on to become Grant Cardone. He would go on to publish a bunch of books, have millions of followers, have a ton of clout in the industry. But because of the resentment that I carried about our exchange, I compromised my relationship with Grant. He knows.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me hold on.
That I was upset with him. He knows that I was not happy with the talk that he gave. And as the customer, I was disappointed in the experience. And because he knows that, we don't have a relationship, but I could have if I had tried to make it right.
That's where he lost me. That's where he lost me. No. If we have an agreement and I'm paying you to come and speak about something and you know I'm unhappy, maybe that's why I don't have as many zeros as some other people do, because I sure as hell wouldn't be groveling. But somebody said it here that the white community has left him and now he's looking to us. I can't find it now. Y'all have so many comments in here. Everybody like the video. Like the video, please. But look. Here it is. Rose. He has sullied his name with the white community, so the next best thing is to go to Black people and nothing will be done about it. Look at what is happening to the Black farm in Colorado. Yep. I saw that story. We have to understand that these three WASP men have no moral code. The two that got beat are mad they got beat, but are wussing out because they still want what Grant has. They want access to his audience. And Grant, if Grant is successful in Black America with what he is doing, other WASP will be coming. You thought this was going to stop at Wells Fargo and these other corporate vultures? Just wait. Thanks for that comment, Deanne. Look, we as Black women, we're going to have to be smart. Just like we're talking about being smart with men, being smart with the men we're involved with, being smart with the careers we're getting, the student loans we're taking or not taking, the degrees we're getting, etc. The churches we're belonging to, we need to be smart about these things. This is not a culture vulture situation. I can care less if he knows the words to a Tupac or a Biggie song or Cardi B or whatever. I care about these things. And with all of the knowledge that I have, it would be wrong of me to sit on this knowing all of the information that's out there that I have seen. So There are others as well. There's Jordan Belfort, The Wolf of Wall Street. If you all are familiar with that movie, Leonardo DiCaprio played him in real life. Jordan Belfort talked about the fact that he knew Grant was going to be in trouble with Cardone Capital because of the way he was targeting unaccredited investors. Unaccredited just means people who are not quote unquote rich. Okay. There's another guy named Tom McKay. I'm just giving you the names. You all can go and do the research with regards to these people. People who have money don't like to have their money mixed with unaccredited investors. Accredited investors tend to really be cautious about the business dealings that they're doing. So, I wrote down on my notes here that we've had wealth taken from us before as a community. I'm going to start with Freeman Bank. I'm sure that there was something before Freeman Bank, but that's the first thing that I thought of. But Freeman Bank. We saw Bruce Beach. Bruce Beach was thriving. State came and took it. Then they gave it back to the family, and then they took it back again. We see payday loans in our community. We see these banks that are messing with us. They are coming at us every which way. We have to be smart. We have to keep our head on a swivel. We have to be conscious and cautious of everything that is happening around us. Because we as Black people, we as Black women, some of us, not all, melt like butter because the right person from the right ethnicity, saying the right thing, walks into the room, pats us on the head, and says, "You're doing a great job with your little eyelash business. You're making $10,000 a week cash. You know what you really should do is you really should give it to me. I can invest it for you. I'm going to put it in this real estate. And we're going to split the profits 80-20, my favor." Yeah, that's what's happening. I would be remiss if I didn't mention what I think is my worst concern and fear for Black people. And that is Scientology. That is Scientology. Grant is an admitted Scientologist. I read an article about him and how he was introduced to Scientology. I couldn't find it for this broadcast tonight, but he was down, mentally on his luck and things like that. And some people started talking to him about Scientology, and he went and he learned about the religion, and now he is one of the top people with regards to Scientology. I want to show you a couple of things about Scientology, because most of us, when we hear religion, we think of the Black Baptist Church. We think of the Pentecostal Church, Kojic. We think of AME churches. Our churches have nothing on Scientology. Years ago, my mother was and is still a bookkeeper. And years ago, there was a man who came to our office to get our services who got out of Scientology. I'll never forget this guy. He was in Scientology for decades. And he had his shoulders punched over, and the life force was just drained out of this guy. And I can't remember the exact amount, but I believe he said he had to pay $60,000 to get out of Scientology. 60, I believe. And I think he was like a carpenter or something like that. He was a low skill guy. Yeah, he's a Scientologist. Go look, Victoria. I have to. If I'm going to tell you the truth, this is going to be my only broadcast on it. I'm going to tell you everything. So Grant is a Scientologist. Let me show you what these Scientologists do. Let me show you what they do. This is a little bit about Scientology here. It says, how many churches have a trained core of salespeople working on a commission basis to provide a constant supply of paying public to the organization. How many churches offer rebates on the services purchased by parishioners? In Scientology, salespersons called field staff members are trained to recruit people for Scientology. The FSMs earn a 10 to 15% commission on everyone they quote unquote select for Scientology service, depending on the type of service. FSMs are drilled on the dissemination drill, in which they learn to locate a person's quote ruin. The dissemination drill is a 4-step drill consisting of contact, handle, salvage, and bring to understanding. The FSM contacts, listen, ladies, the FSM contacts a potential recruit in any of a variety of ways, handles any objections the person might have about Scientology, then probes through conversation to discover the person's ruin. The one thing in his life he will pay almost anything to overcome. Once the ruin is discovered, the person can be brought to understanding by being told, quote, Scientology handles that problem. Once the new person is on the communication course, he will be shepherded onto subsequent courses by the FSM who, listen ladies, who will receive commissions for everything his selectee does in Scientology. Ladies. Oh, I wish I had it bigger for you. I'm so sorry. Ladies, this is not a joke. Everything that Scientology does costs money, and you basically pay money to get up to the different levels of Scientology. And if you want to leave, you will be harassed by the Scientologists. If you don't believe me, Leah Remini, who is an actress, did a documentary or a TV show or something like that on Scientology. I encourage you to look at it. There are news articles about Scientologists and people who try to leave the church and how the other members of the church will stand in front of their homes, harass them. This is not a joke. Which brings me back to Stormy Wellington and the things that I said about Stormy Wellington. Stormy Wellington was taken advantage of as a 13-year-old girl. How many Black women do we have in Black America that have Stormy Wellington's past? So not only do you get them thinking that they're going to invest with Grant in real estate, that they're going to be rich, that they can buy a yacht with $1 million cash, how many of them are susceptible to Scientology, where Grant could allegedly get commissions on every dollar they spend within the religion? And if that Black woman tries to get out of that religion, if that Black woman tries to get out of that religion, because she's going to be sold that it's like being a Black Baptist or a Pentecostal or something like that, and she tries to get out of that religion, then what? Then what? Please do your research on Scientology. It's no joke. Not only is Grant going after our adults, he's also going after our kids. Grant is going after our kids. You think I'm lying? And make sure it's nice and big for everybody. Yeah, y'all can see it. Grant Cardone speaks to Black youth during Black History Month. I'm not going to play it here. I just want you to see the kids here. He's got a room full of our youth, teaching them 10X. How many of these youth are troubled? How many of these youth are looking for Uncle G? How many of these youth are looking for Uncle G? How many of these youth are looking for Uncle G? How many of these youth are looking for Uncle G? How many of these youth are looking for Uncle G? How many of these youth are looking for Uncle G? How many of these youth are looking for Uncle G? How many of these youth are looking for Uncle G? How many of these youth are looking for Uncle G? How many of these youth are looking for Uncle G? How many of these youth are looking for Uncle G? How many of these youth are looking for Uncle G? How many of these youth are looking for Uncle G? How many of these youth are looking for Uncle G? How many of these youth are looking for Uncle G? How many of these youth are looking for Uncle G? How many of these youth are looking for Uncle G? How many of these youth are looking for Uncle G? How many of these youth are looking for Uncle G? How many How many of these youth have a chance to do something really big and they're going to get caught up in certain things that they don't understand because they don't have a strong mom and a strong dad to say, hold on, wait a second. Let me check this religion out. Let me check this growth conference out. Let me check this Cardone Capital out. I don't think this is a good thing. And I would be remiss if I see all of this happening within Black America and with everything that happened this week with Grant Cardone and people calling him a culture vulture, and I didn't speak up. Everybody like the video, share the stream, please. Like the video. Please like the video. So if you're going to go be a part of Cardone area, Cardone zone, Cardone land, whatever it is, have your head on a swivel. Be strong. Ericka wouldn't dare get caught up in that Scientology mess. Absolutely not. She has a strong family. She has a strong sense of herself. But not everybody, not all of us have that. And that is a concern to me. Ericka is part of Cardone Capital, I believe, I'm practically 100% sure, for networking purposes. But some people are going to get caught up in Cardone Capital because they think it is going to help them gain enormous amounts of wealth. I showed you tonight where the Aaron guy said it's not exactly what's happening there. Those of you who are aware of YouTube, I'm putting this analogy out. We got this Pearl woman now who's the head of the Black manosphere. How in the world do we have Pearl, the head of the Black manosphere? Then you got Destiny, a white man with blue hair, and I'm not against white people. I'm just making this a point. You got a white man with blue hair that's talking divestment points on YouTube. And then you got Grant Cardone, prosperity preacher, the new Creflo Dollar, the new whomever. These are the people we have. This is on us. We're anointing these people. Y'all anointing these people. I don't follow any of them, but I'm aware of them. I'm aware of them. I don't think this is good. You may have less zeros in your bank account. You may be like me. You may have less zeros in your bank account, but I tell you something, I rest very well at night. I don't want to be at zero. God has blessed me. I'm not at zero, but I'm also okay with not being a gazillionaire because there are certain waters I don't go into. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. So that's the topic for the evening. That's the show for the evening. That's the discussion for the evening. Yeah, we're studied. We're very studied people. People see us. Yeah, people have always seen us. Now, what Ericka talked about with the fact that there was oh my goodness, there was something done in the 1960s promoting Black people and how to sell to the Negro. That's what it's called if you want to do the research on it, how to sell to the Negro. We are a studied people, and the goal is for people to extract wealth from us in any way that's possible. But Cardone, like I said, I was gung-ho for Cardone from 2015 to 2018. I admit it. 2018, I saw the shift. 2018, I was told that he was a Scientologist. 2018-ish, I started learning a little bit more about what was happening on the back end. I don't need my financial coaches to be able to recite rap lyrics to me, to be hip, to be edutaining. I'm okay with my financial people being plain vanilla. I might fall asleep on them. I'm just going to rewind that sucker back and listen again. Let me tell you something. The people who are plain vanilla, I'm actually going to put the link in the chat in case somebody wants to come up. I'm going to do it for maybe 20 minutes if people want to come up and talk with me. I trust the plain vanilla people more than than I trust, these flashy people. And I know that's how you sell to the Negro. You sell to the Negro with flash. You sell to the Negro on a Lamborghini making it rain. If I see stuff like that, I'm telling you, I run the other way. I run. I run. I heard about the Malcolm X thing. I heard about it. I'm very interested to see how that is all going to pan out. If anybody wants to come up, y'all can come up. You got me for another 18 minutes or so, unless nobody comes up. We put everything on Front Street for the picking. Yeah, they know our pain points. They do. They do. And some of us grew up in intact families, or, even though my parents were divorced, I had both of my parents. I'm not susceptible to certain things, like the women who really understand Stormy Wellington and really have had a lot of pain, and, the Mary J types and all of them. I think that we're vulnerable. I think that we're very vulnerable. We are starved for generational wealth. We are starved for resources. And we think we're inching up, and we think that if we give our money to these people, that they're going to do right by us, and they're going to help us get to the next level. And with Grant's sales stuff, like I said, that one program, Millions on the Phone, that program was solid. He did that program in like 2017. But this other stuff, and if you say because of all the other stuff you heard tonight that you're not even going to buy that, I completely understand. I completely understand. I had pain, but that's why I'm side-eyeing everything. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, nobody is coming up, so I guess you all got your fill of Cherie this evening. That is the story. This is my testimony to you. I showed you some things. There's more you can research. There's more articles out there about all of this stuff, more videos, more people breaking it down, and they've been breaking it down for years. So, so this is an interesting comment. No offense, but for anyone to follow Stormy, something is wrong with the individual. I think that there's a lot of women, especially in our community, who can identify with Stormy. There are more women who can identify with the Stormy than who can identify with me. I don't think something is wrong with the individual who follows Stormy. I don't like the association that she has, but one of the things that I believe we need to do is give each other grace, because it's very hard for a lot of Black people out here. And when you finally done it, when you finally, oh, Rose is coming up. When you finally,
Hey, can
when
you
you,
hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. I'm just gonna make the statement. I'll let you speak. When you finally gotten yourself out of the mud. This is why so many Black men want to be rappers, right? They're finally made it out of the mud, but then they do what? They backslide, and you end up with an issue like was it the Migos, the guy that got killed a couple of months ago. So go ahead, Rose. You had a lot to say in the chat tonight.
Well, first and foremost, let me just say thank you for what you're doing. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can.
Yes. Thank you for what you're doing because we need people, we need whistleblowers, we need people to alert our people, those of us who are naive and are not watching. And thank you so much for doing this. I commend you because everybody is after the glitz and the glam, which is why I tell you I'm going to sound hard, but bear with me, which
Okay.
is why you have the Stormies, people following the Stormies and less following you. Now, the reason I'm very unsympathetic about it is that a lot of people, when I watch their behavior, they follow whatever is glitzy and whatever is ritzy. The same information could be given by someone else that's legit. They're not paying attention because they're not all decorated. And the funny thing is sometimes those people have a lot of money too. They're rich, but they're not into flash. We continually fall for flash. And the reason I am unsympathetic, go on any one of these platforms and you'll hear them regurgitate the same things. Oh, we need generational wealth. We don't need to give our money. And this okay, are we allowed to mention names?
Sure.
Names on the platform. Okay. I was
Well,
watching.
just don't get me, like in trouble.
Okay. All right. I was watching a pastor, famous pastor, has been in a scandal. And then one of the most popular housewives. And they were on the show, and he was bragging. Look at something about her Louis Vuittons or whatever she was wearing. And I'm like, what? In 2023, we claim to be woke, and we are still validating ourselves by the name of some man. That's progress to us.
Yeah,
So,
unfortunately.
but the thing is that this is not a new phenomena. We've been talking, I listened, they've been talking about this same thing over and over and over again. So why is the same mistake still being made? People are caught up in what's popular and the glitz and the glam. And like I said, you say something, they're not listening to you because you're not showing off yachts. It's a certain class of person, a certain intellect that's going to listen to you. I mean, look who has the in Black YouTube, who has the biggest numbers? Who has the biggest numbers?
Yeah, the relationship channels that are talking a whole bunch of mess. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know that anyway, this is just my opinion. I could be
Yeah, and I
wrong.
appreciate you sharing your opinion and
Okay, because look, okay, let me give you an example.
sure.
Stormy had something I could not believe. Honestly, I was shocked. I had to go on the website myself where she was charging thousands of dollars. I couldn't believe
Oh,
that
that
people were paying.
$10,000 to walk in her closet and spend the weekend with her?
I said, this is a lie. They're exaggerating. It can't be true. They're lying. So I just said, let me go see it. Now, look at I remember the infamous low vibrational plate and vibrational
Mhm.
plate.
Yes.
Look at what she served. Look at the dishes that were served. You could even have had a hamburger, but I've seen really fancy, smancy hamburgers that you would think you were eating filet mignon. Look at what was handed. And
Yeah.
you will listen to Stormy? I'm supposed to feel sorry for you? Well,
When you
again.
say it like that, because at first in the comments, I'm like, no, we should give people grace. But I see both sides of
my
it.
my, my anger is why my annoying this is my annoyance. I get the vulnerability, I get the desire to want to be part of to have the generational weight. I get it, I really understand the passion,
Mhm.
but why fall for the same old tricks over and over? And wasn't there another one? There was another real estate person who came telling people he was going to build Black Wall Street.
Oh,
that
yeah.
that never happened.
Oh, goodness.
I don't even remember his
Yeah,
name. So,
I know his name. I'm sure somebody will
then
put it in the chat. He
then
ra
then some I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Then we had another one who told people about the ills, the social ills of what are done to Black boys, and give to me and I will build a school.
The
And the
school
school
that
has
everyone's
it's been
waiting on.
the school, I think it's 12 or 13 years.
That's what
So
people say.
it's like we have to be the only reason that I'm saying this is the reason I'm saying it, is that for us not to for people, oh yes, they said it, that's the
Yes.
I just want us to be discerning so that we don't get played, because you can be played by anyone, black,
Yeah.
white, either way. Let's not pump money into the hands of other people. And I'm going to mention one last person. He didn't play anyone, but he certainly did exploit black people. Remember years ago, the guy who did Carl Can I? Oh, no, For Us By Us.
Oh,
For
Fubu.
Us,
Yeah, that's the
Fubu.
Damon John guy.
You know, uh, um, capitalized on what I believe, I'm sorry, no offense to anyone, is a very derogatory culture of misogynistic lyrics, materialism, cursing. He made his money, went off, and I don't think he really identifies with our community anymore. But he made a lot of money off of us.
Well, he's still making money off of us. He's still
Okay.
doing his business seminars and things like that. A lot of it is targeted to the Black community. Um, I think that we there's a lot for us to learn. We need to be watchful. I'm always cautious of giving money to people. The one person, we'll call the name out, the Dr. Umar.
Mhm.
I think of all the people that you mentioned, I'm most disappointed in him, not because of the school, even though he raised a lot of money for that school. But the first time I'd ever heard of Dr. Umar, true story, was I'm gonna mute you really quickly because there's some feedback. Yeah. Um, the first time I ever heard of Dr. Umar was actually on Roland Martin when he did the interview with Roland Martin, and Roland didn't show very well. And I was like, who is this guy? He's speaking my language. He's talking about saving Black boys and things like that. And then I started hearing the stuff about the school, etc. I'm disappointed in Dr. Umar because if he had just stayed on the path of helping parents keep their kids off of medication and out of special ed and all of that, if he had stuck with his original path, we would have been so much farther as a community. And then he could have gone into helping us with some legislation locally with these school boards. Like, he didn't have to do the school, and we would have raised $1 million and it would have supported something like that, and I think we would have gotten a lot farther with nobody really, saying anything negative about it, because we would at least see that, hey, this stuff is going to lobbying efforts and us getting the politicians that we need into these school boards, but Umar really, he dropped the ball. He really did. And I'm not going to say he purposely scammed, because I don't know that, but he really did drop the ball. He really did.
My response to that, you don't have to say it. My response is that was that ever really the intention? It's one thing to
I don't
say
know.
something, but what was the intention?
Yeah.
And again, what I'm saying is that I've so many people,
Mhm.
time and time again have talked a very good game,
Mhm.
and 90% of the people, it's just rubbish. People keep falling for sentiment. I don't fall for it. I'm for the out of respect. I'm not going to really say what I really feel because I don't want to offend.
Mhm.
But I don't really listen to a lot of. I keep telling people your brain was given to you for a reason. God gave each of us an individual brain
Yeah.
for a reason, so you use it. I really don't listen to a lot of these people because what they say and what is being done, I don't see it. I'm just
I
hearing
agree.
nothing but talk.
Yeah, I agree, which is why I've taken off my cape for the Black community. I'm going to do like the investing in the things that I'm going to do. I'm going to continue learning. Um, but I'm not following really any gurus these days. educating myself, always learning from people. I'm learning about economics and things like that continuously, but I'm learning how to use AI in order to make my business better. But in terms of following people, like those days are done, you know? So,
I totally understand what you're saying, because
mhm.
one of my friends, he's like an intellect, and we talk about different stuff. And coming from Africa, my passion is Africa. But the sad thing about this is a whole nother topic, but
Yeah,
because
it
I
is
know
another
there's
topic because Africa is, I'm
it,
going
it
to say it as an American, Africa is a mess and I don't know if it can ever be repaired.
and you know why, what is, this is the thing, and this goes into a whole nother topic, though I don't think this is your area. Maybe this is something that I should go into. Is I wonder, is there something beyond cause and effect that's wrong with us? Because how do you have a continent washed with minerals? The people are brilliant. I can tell you Nigerians for a fact are some of the most brilliant people. How do you have all that and it's a mess? And then like I would tell my mother, okay, mom, let me do this, let me do that. She says, no, 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 no. The very people you're trying to help want to kill you, want to harm you, and you see it. So it's very, I don't take any happiness saying this. It's with heavy heart, because I'm a Black person. So you want to uplift. Look at what's happening to the man in Colorado. Look at what's happening to the farmer. That is just so heartbreaking.
Yeah, it
He's
is.
trying to do something. So you say, okay, I'm gonna go and get away from this place and go to the continent. And then you don't even know, is it
Yeah. I mean,
so
it's
anyway,
okay.
just what I wanted to say, I'm with you. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not burning. I'm just gonna take care of me, help whoever wants to learn, and I'm done. I can't.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
But thank you.
thank
You did
you.
a great job.
Thank,
Thanks for, telling us. Thanks.
yeah, thank you and thanks for coming up.
Okay.
Take care. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is my bedtime. So I'm headed out. Please like the video on your way out and share the stream with anybody who is thinking of getting into anything Cardone, and tell them, don't believe the things that I said. Take the information I'm giving them and just do their own research on these things. And that is it. I'll see you all later. Take care. Bye.